I'm Jane Nattress and my son was Henry Dancer. He'd just started secondary school and I noticed when he was walking back towards me that he had a slight limp and he was complaining of a bit of pain, but not excessively bad. But eventually when I noticed the limp I took him to the GP and our GP referred us on to the hospital, but said if anything happens in the next 24 hours, take him to A&E. Sure enough, we went bowling the next day and his leg suddenly swelled to about twice its usual size. So we took him to A&E and within 48 hours we had the diagnosis of osteosarcoma. So it was a very quick diagnosis in Henry's case. Immediately after diagnosis, it was the same day, he was taken for a biopsy and then we were kept in hospital for about 4 days until he learned to walk, because he had to have his leg in a plaster cast, so he had to learn, had a bit of physio to work out how to walk with the cast. And then within a week we started chemotherapy, and that continued for about 4 months before he went for major surgery. Henry had a titanium implant put in from hip to shin, which is an amazing, absolutely incredible piece of kit. But unfortunately, once he'd had the surgery, he didn't walk again. There were issues of the chemo interfering with the healing of the wound. He had to have an extra operation because he needed a skin graft to the major part of the wound. And he managed to stand, I think, but from then on, really, he was in a wheelchair. Following his surgery, we went for more bouts of chemotherapy, which brought their own issues with infections, strange skin conditions, and then fairly soon into the year, we discovered that there wasn't anything more they could do and that the cancer had jumped into his lungs. We knew that at the outset, and into his liver and his lymph node system. So by the July, we knew he was a terminal case, which was awful. I spent an inordinate amount of time in hospital. As an example, during the August of that year, we only had 3 nights at home. But toward the end, the fantastic oncology outreach team helped us get set up at home, and we were lucky. A postcode lottery, really. We have a very good community nursing system in Durham, so they could tend to him 24 hours if needed. So he was at home when the end came. Henry died on November the 2nd, 2010, and that's the date that's emblazoned on my mind. Once Henry had left us, I set up a charity called Henry Dancer Days in his memory. And we exist to do 2 things. One is to give grants to families who have children under 18 with primary bone cancer, and we work closely with Click Sargent in getting referrals for that. The other thing we do is we take storytellers into the main cancer centres to distract kids a little bit from what they're going through, and it's somebody coming into the room who's going to do something fun rather than something unpleasant. And we don't do high literature. As an example, the favourite story at the moment in the Great North Children's Hospital is the burp that saved the world. So we give them fun, we give them giggles, and it just takes them and the parents out of their environment for a little while. Take it a bit at a time. I think it's all too easy to try and do loads of research on the internet, which it can be a wonderful thing if it's a site like Bone Cancer Research Trust, but there's a lot of rubbish out there. Everybody's treatment is different. Everybody reacts differently to the chemo. Ask questions, but be prepared not to be told everything, because actually everything can be too much sometimes. If someone's considering supporting BCRT, I would say do it. It's a wonderful organisation. I wish I'd found it sooner during Henry's illness, but there is so much good work being done by them, and just witnessing in the past 5 or 6 years the developments that are happening in treatment just to make it that little bit kinder to children, I think it's absolutely wonderful. So yeah, do support them.